Hello everyone, my name is Sammy, and today along with Liana, I will be walking you through India's recent issues with Islamophobia. So let's get started. So first, a little bit of history on India, because what even is India? India first developed Hinduism thousands of years ago. It is also the birthplace of Sikhism, Jainism, and Buddhism. In the Middle Ages, Islam arrived in India as a new religion. While India is technically a secular state, the vast majority of Indians are Hindu, around 80%. Around 14% are Muslim, making it the largest religious minority in the country. So this is India's current Prime Minister, Narendra Modi. He was elected in 2014 and has been an Indian politician since 1985. He just finished his first 5-year term and was recently re-elected with an overwhelming majority. He also happens to be a Hindu nationalist, which will be important later. And by later, I mean the next slide. So yes, I did come up with this clever pun. Thank you very much for asking. Modi's administration has been moving towards more and more aggressive anti-Muslim policies. He is the member of a party, the RSS, which is a Hindu supremacist group. Despite the fact that Gandhi, the father of India, expressly demanded a secular government, the RSS believes that their religious ethnic group is superior to all others and that the government should be run by them. One of the founders of the party actually said that he admired Hitler's ideals of a pure race and culture. In 2002, Modi failed to prevent or help stop a Hindu riot in the state he ran, which led to the deaths of more than 1,000 Muslim people, as well as the displacement of 150,000. Modi has also appointed many officials who have said and done extremely Islamophobic things in the past. So now we'll talk about the Citizenship Amendment Bill, which is the reason for the presentation today. On December 11, 2019, this amendment bill was passed. The Citizenship Amendment Bill amends the 64-year-old Indian Citizenship Law, which currently prohibits illegal migrants from becoming Indian citizens. It defines illegal immigrants as foreigners who enter India without a valid passport or travel documents or stay beyond their permitted time. Illegal immigrants can be deported or jailed. The new bill also amends a provision which says a person must have lived in India or worked for the federal government for at least 11 years before they can apply for citizenship. Now there will be an exception for members of 6 religious minority communities: Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain, Parsi, and Christian. Notice that Muslim is not one of the 6 minorities allowed, if they can prove that they are from Pakistan, Afghanistan, or Bangladesh. They will only have to live or work in India for 6 years to be eligible for citizenship. It also says people holding overseas Citizen of India cards and immigration status permitting a foreign citizen of Indian origin to live and work in India indefinitely can lose their status if they violate local laws. Essentially, this citizenship bill is changing itself to make it far easier for non-Muslim peoples to gain citizenship while making it harder for Muslims to do so.
Why people so pressed like a panini? Opponents of the bill say it is exclusionary and violates the secular principles enshrined in the Constitution. They say faith cannot be made a condition of citizenship. The Constitution prohibits religious discrimination against its citizens and guarantees all persons equality before the law and equal protection of the law. A Delhi-based lawyer says that by dividing alleged migrants into Muslims and non-Muslims, the bill explicitly and blatantly seeks to enshrine religious discrimination into law, contrary to the long-standing secular constitutional ethos. A historian says that the bill is couched in the language of refuge and seemingly directed at foreigners, but its main purpose is the delegitimization of Muslim citizenship. Critics say that if it is genuinely aimed at protecting minorities, the bill should have included Muslim religious minorities who have faced persecution in their own countries, for example, the Rohingyas in Myanmar. As a response to the bill, the Delhi riots occurred, in which Hindus were pitted against Muslims. Thousands were injured and 68 people were killed. The violence raged across the northeast of India's capital for 7 days, as mosques were set alight, Muslims were burned alive in their homes or dragged out into the streets to be lynched. Muslim businesses and properties were also set alight. In the streets where Hindus and Muslims had once lived peacefully side by side, bodies laid bloodied alongside discarded and burned out cars. bikes, shattered glass, and smoldering shop fronts. The police have been accused of enabling, encouraging, or even joining in the Hindu mobs. These Hindu mobs were stopping men in the streets, demanding to see their ID cards. If anyone refused, they were forced to show whether or not they were circumcised, as it is common among Muslim men. A photo of a Muslim man being brutally beaten by a Hindu mob became the defining image of the religious riots that broke out in Delhi. Muhammad Zubar, the man in the image, survived the attack after he lost consciousness and was left for dead. However, he has serious injuries and spent days in the hospital. He laid in a ball, bloodied on the floor, as 30 strangers beat him with batons without stopping. As he was being beaten, Muhammad Zubar closed his eyes, brought his forehead to the ground, and prayed. He says, "The blows kept raining on my head, hands, and back. I did not ask them to stop beating me. I became silent, tried to hold my breath, and stiffen my body. First I asked, 'Why are you attacking me? What wrong have I done?' But they did not listen to my words and went on hitting me from all sides. They were shouting, 'Killed the bastard Muslim' and 'Jai Sari Ram,' a Hindu nationalist slogan." He says there were many men who stood by watching and who did not come to save him. Another big case was a man named Imran Khan, who was walking home one evening when a group descended on him. Armed with iron rods, crowbars, and metal pipes, the Hindu mob beat Khan unconscious. When he came 2 hours later, he found that the attackers assumed he was dead and had tied a rope around his neck and dragged him into a gutter. Another big case was the Musharraf family. Among the 68 dead was Musharraf, a 30-year-old Muslim man. He was at home with his wife and children when a mob of around 30 men with iron rods, knives, and chains, many wearing motorcycle helmets so that they could not be identified, broke down their locked doors shouting, "Jai Sari Ram." They cut the electricity so it was all dark and started smashing the house. His wife was calling the police, but they did not come. Everyone got into the beds to hide, but the men covered everything with kerosene and shouted, "Will you come out or do you want us to burn you alive?" They smashed the bed where Musharraf was hiding underneath and he screamed, so they grabbed him and dragged him out into the street. His children ran out too and were screaming. "Please, I'm also your brother," he pleaded and folded his hands in front of his chest, a gesture for mercy. "I also have young kids like you." His daughter Kushi, who was 11, fell on the feet of those men, pleading, "Don't kill my father." She tried to save him, but they beat him to death in the middle of the street and threw him into the gutter. His family members who were hiding in the neighborhood frantically called the police, but no one came.
So will this actually go into effect and negatively affect Muslim peoples in India? Well, many Indian states have declared that they will not be implementing the Citizenship Amendment Bill because it is extremely anti-Muslim. And now, with COVID-19, it seems we may have even bigger issues at hand. So the Citizenship Amendment Bill has been out of the news for a while. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how everything plays out once all the craziness with coronavirus is resolved. But for now, that's all we have. So thank you guys for listening. Bye.